Hello and welcome to Meet Your Ministers. I'm Shereen Bhan and we're in conversation with Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Mr. Gadkari, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Let me start by asking you about news that's hit the headlines today, and that is the Supreme Court issuing a notice on the land ordinance to the government asking why the ordinance was repromulgated. The appeal has been made by NGOs representing farmers' unions, poor farmers' unions in specific, and they say that the repromulgation and the proroguing of the budget session amounts to a fraud on the Constitution. What is the government's response going to be?
First of all, they have a right to appeal in the Supreme Court. Now the stay is not granted. The Supreme Court asking the government reply for that. We will submit to the Supreme Court. That's not the problem. The problem is that before 31st December,
yes,
if we cannot get that ordinance, otherwise the situation will even we cannot in position to give the 1:4, 1:2 compensation to the farmer. Because already in the previous act, there was a provision that up to 31st December only, that the last date for that execution of that act. So that was the reason that we have...
But given the opposition, including from your own allies, the fact that you actually managed to pass this through the Lok Sabha because you enjoy the majority there, but you didn't table it in the Rajya Sabha, you chose to prorogue the budget session and instead repromulgate the ordinance, it raises questions in people's minds as to the desperation for this government to clear this ordinance.
When the bill passed by the parliament, only in the Rajya Sabha, from 2 times. It is the Rajya Sabha opposition party, when there was a discussion, we are ready to cooperate them, we are ready to accept their suggestion. At the same time, they have decided that they should not pass this bill in the Rajya Sabha. That was the reason that we have to repeatedly make it ordinance. It is because of the non-cooperation of the opposition party in the Rajya Sabha. How we are responsible for that?
Okay, are you going to make changes as far as the 2 contentious issues? 9 amendments have been moved by our government in the bill that's been passed by the Lok Sabha, but are you willing to make any concessions on the 2 controversial and crucial issues of consent and social impact assessment? That's what the opposition claims is the effort to sort of try and be pro-corporate and so on and so forth. I don't want to get into that, but you yourself have stated on record that you're willing to take more suggestions on board and make more amendments. Can we expect any dilution as far as consent and social impact assessment is concerned?
First of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of consent clause and SIA. 80% of the land in the country acquisition is only for irrigation. Now in irrigation, we have to make one dam.
Sure.
3,000 acres, the dam is there, and the 3 lakh acres of land, they get the water from it. Now this consent clause says, the 80% of the people, farmers, if they only give the permission, we can make the dam. Now I'm asking you the question. Suppose you have a house in the road, road construction, and because of we need widening of the road is very essential. Present road, the lot of accidents are going on. In the public interest, we have to increase the width of the road, widening of the road. But if whatever the people, those who are suffering, their house, we have to take on their land for the road, widening of the road. If 80% of the people say no, we will not give you any land, we cannot extend that road, we cannot widen that road. Suppose, if anywhere, we want to make a low-cost housing for the poor people. And if 80% of people say no, we will not give you land, it means that, what is the meaning, you understand? These are the people.
But sir, then you go back to the original law, the law that was attempting to be changed by the 2013 Act. The eminent domain then comes right back to where it was.
No, you are not absolutely correct. You just understand. In the bill which is passed by the UPA in the parliament, almost there 13 Act. Coal Mines Act, Mining Act, Railway Act, everywhere, 13 Act, there is an exemption from consent clause and SIA. It was there.
You've included that.
I'm asking you a simple question to the opposition party, but to the Congress party. In this Coal Mine Act, you acquired the land, and without any transparent process, you allotted coal mines to the big industries of this country. The CAG given a report that it is a loss of the country of 1,88,000 crores, and the auction of 20 mines, we get 2 lakh crore rupees. I'm asking you a question. I'm asking the question to these Congress leaders. At that time, when you acquired the land and giving coal mines to the big people, you never remind this consent clause.
You're basically ruling out any dilution as far as consent and social impact assessment is concerned.
I am very much clear, and our government is very much clear. if you are going to implement consent clause and the SIA, there will be no irrigation in the country. Now there will be no rural infrastructure. We cannot acquire any land for defense and security purposes. We cannot acquire any land for the rural in the area for low cost housing for the poor people, landless and homeless people, and this is against the country. So,
will you attempt to bring the bill to the Rajya Sabha in the next session of Parliament, sir?
Sir, actually it's a procedure. We have to go to Rajya Sabha. We will try to convince them. Now the Biju Janata Dal is supporting us. So they are supporting. I feel that.
Have you managed to convince your own allies? The
problem is that all people, when talking individually, they are always talking against this act. When they are sitting in the parliament, they are taking position to oppose this act.
Let me ask you the next question, sir, which also relates to the courts in a sense, and that is the order of the NGT, the National Green Tribunal, to ban vehicles, diesel vehicles over 10 years and petrol vehicles over 15 years from plying in the NCR region. Are you going to appeal that? Because I understand that truckers have now threatened to go on an indefinite strike against that order. And of course, the order has now been stayed for 2 weeks. The NGT has given the government time to respond.
Frankly speaking, we welcome this order because pollution is a big problem. Swachha Bharat, Pradushan Mukta Bharat is our mission. But now the problem is already my department encouraging ethanol, biodiesel, biogas, electric, which give permission to e-rickshaw. We are making 100% this fuel. And when we go for hydrogen, we are going to go hybrid models to reduce the pollution. But within 2 weeks, it will not possible. Lot of people have taken a loan from the banks. It will take some time, at least 6 months, to make an exact correct policy for that. And to implementation of it, we need some years, 2-3 years for that.
So you will appeal against this order?
Yes, we have decided to appeal in Supreme Court, and we are admitting that. We accept the spirit of the Green Tribunal. But at the same time, within 2 weeks, to implement this order is practically impossible.
So what is your plea going to be to the court?
We are going to appeal to the Supreme Court.
So you will seek more time for transition? You will seek more time for the transition?
100%. We are of the same opinion. But if you sometime within 2 weeks, this lakhs of vehicles, diesel vehicles, over 10 years, immediately we solve this question. There are options. We can convert this diesel vehicle on CNG. We can make some hybrid models there.
So how much time will you seek, sir?
Sir, actually we need 6 months to make the policies. We have to approve the kits. We have the technology are there by which we can reduce the pollution. We are going to make some committee under the technical people by which how we can reduce the pollution. And at the same, we are going to take some technical measures
of
international standards.
6 months is what you will seek?
It's need to, we have to take the all research and the technology in the world.
So more than 6 months clearly.
We will need it.
Let me now ask you about the road sector, sir. And the combined exposure of banks to the road sector stands at about 1.67 lakh crore rupees as of the month of February. A couple of weeks ago when I had a conversation with the finance minister, he said that in order to revive stalled road projects, the government is looking at providing some sort of a lifeline. Can you update us on what the current situation is? What is going to be this lifeline? And should the banking sector be worried because of the exposure to the road sector at this point in time? How are you going to alleviate the pain?
Actually, when I taken a charge as a minister, our road construction was 2 kilometers per day. At the end of the March, it was 12 kilometers per day. And at the end of May, probably approximately it will go to 14 kilometers per day.
At the end of May, 14 kilometers a day.
1 year when we complete our government, it will be 14 kilometers per day. When I taken a charge as a minister, there was the project of 3,80,000 crores approximately was stuck up. We have decided to take the decision. The project was stuck up because of land acquisition problem. Project was stuck up because environment, forest problem, railway overbridges problem, some litigation was there. So we have taken a decision. The online system started by railway, because of that 78 ROB projects already have been cleared by the railway. There are environment and forest ministry, more than 70 to 80 projects they are also cleared. Now 44 projects, the contractor concessionaires are not ready to work. They say it's practically impossible because 3 years, 2 years delay is there, cost is increased. So we make a golden shake hand and we terminated 44 projects. Then 84, 86 projects, we have find out the way out, we have given them a clearance and the projects are running now, they are moving fast. Out of 26 projects, there is a problem that we cannot find some solution because of our limitation. So we approached the cabinet. 3 suggestions we have already given to the cabinet. Now we have already meeting with the finance minister, and this cabinet note is pending with the cabinet. After the clearance of this note, at the end of the April, suppose the note is clear, at the end of the April, there will be no single problem in our...
What is going to be the solution, sir? What is it that you have proposed to the ministry, to the finance ministry and the cabinet in terms of the solution to revive these stalled 24
Actually,
projects?
there are 3 proposals. One is, suppose a company have got 5 projects and 1 project is completed. In present law, they cannot sell their project.
Right.
If they can sell their 1 project, they can complete the
you're making the exit clause easier.
So that is where to get the permission. Second problem, we have to somewhere there is a problem for land acquisition, environment, other problem, which is a government problem, state or central. In that case, there is a 5% penalty there. So we are requesting we make 1% penalty and we will close the project.
Okay.
So that is the second thing. And third thing is there are some small decisions where our department needs to authorize to take the decision in NHI board or to the ministry. So by which I feel that we can solve our 100% problems. And these 26 projects, if the cabinet note is to be cleared, there will be no problem up to the end of April or in any interview when I will give in May first week.
All stalled projects will be done.
Every problem is solved, 100% problem solved. And now I request to the bankers, don't bother.
Okay.
So you're telling the bankers not to bother? No, don't bother.
Everything will be all right.
Now we introduce the new system, that is the hybrid project.
Yeah.
Where 40% of the cost of the project is given by the government. 60% from the concessionaries, out of which 30% from the concessionaries and other 70% from the bank. And there is clearances, environment forest clearances, land acquisition will be responsible to the government. At the same time, it will be on NET. And interest cost plus 2 to 3% profit will give them. So it can be a easy model for them. And now we have already going for tender for new 14 projects on hybrid model, and the people are giving good response to it.
14 projects under the hybrid model. What does that mean in terms of targets, sir? Because the last conversation that we had with you said 15,000 kilometers of roads in 2 fiscal, which means by March 2016. You're standing by that target, or you're going to exceed that target?
Not 15. I want to rectify you.
Okay.
I have a target within 2 years.
Within 2 years, exactly.
Yes. The May 1 year is completed. In the next May, we will give you. This is my target. I don't know whether I will succeed or not, but it's my plan that it will be 30 kilometers per day. So that is the target. I am confident that I will complete.